For the first time, Mayor Curry personally visits a second low-income community owned by Global Ministries Foundation here in Jacksonville. Today, he met face-to-face with residents at Washington Heights on Moncrief Road.
Our I-Team reporter and photojournalist covering the story were confronted by security guards employed by the property owner. You saw it live during our breaking news coverage this afternoon.
Actually, as we're on TV live, these are two officers trying to kick us off the property right here. These are hired men by Global Ministries Foundation, hired by Reverend Richard Hamlet. Earlier today, I was here speaking with tenants that do want media coverage of this event. So why don't you go ahead and tell our viewers why you're trying to kick us off?
You can speak with that individual resident.
Right.
If you're going to 42, we're going to ask that you go to 42.
Okay.
We cannot have you sitting around following these guys, okay? That's the only situation.
You're not with JSO, correct?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Okay, so I'm going to go walk to the lady who talked to me earlier today that said she does want the media here.
The I-Team's Francesca Amiker was there when all this happened. She spoke with a resident who talked with Mayor Curry. Francesca?
That's right, Tom. The mayor came right out of City Hall here, walked all the way to Washington Heights, or at least drove, spoke with a lot of people who live there, listened to their concerns, and now he plans to put the fire under the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
It's the community walk that came at the perfect time. Just a week before Mayor Lenny Curry was scheduled to meet with the Secretary of HUD in Washington, D.C. On the agenda was bettering the current housing for the people of Jacksonville. But after a 7-month-long investigation of the Global Ministries Foundation done by the I-Team, 2 properties will now be at the forefront of their conversation.
What did you have to say about what you saw in there?
Well, I was there listening to people. Look, there were people here working. I talked to some folks that tell me they're working 15, 16 hours a day, trying to raise their kids.
One of those people was Mr. Williams. He's lived in the area for 30 years.
It was amazing to see the mayor come through. This was my first time meeting him. He took the time to talk to residents. I seen him go in a few apartments and talk to the young ladies that stay out here, and he made a promise that he would make it a better living condition for the kids and the people in the community.
You've now seen Eureka Gardens, Washington Heights. What's the comparison that you draw?
Old facilities that need some work. Both need work.
Over at Eureka Gardens, a recent report shows that 70% of the units still show elevated levels of mold spores. Here at Washington Heights, the complex also has mold and is just barely passing HUD requirements with a score of 60.01. Conditions the mayor says are unacceptable for anyone, especially children.
Whether it's adults or children, but particularly children living in places that are mold infested. And again, you've got to take it on a case-by-case basis, but there should be no tolerance for people having to live in mold.
And it's that support the residents are pleased to see from the mayor and their councilmen, who are now taking these issues even higher as they meet with the federal government.
It's a problem, as the mayor said. It takes a village, and that's what we're going to do. We came here, we listened, we saw some of the issues that addressed everybody.
And again, next week, Mayor Lenny Curry will head to Washington, D.C. There, he will speak with the Secretary of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And again, that takes place next week. I'm live at City Hall. Francesca Amiker, Channel 4, the local station.